Hello and welcome. Lake and James led the team in scoring last week, and no doubt we will see the American guard at the forefront of what the Gladiators do tonight. The Riders are on a bit of a roll. The visitors have won 9 out of their last 10 games and come into tonight's game playing a nice brand of basketball. They're led tonight by Mackenzie Johnson. The second-year Rider leads them in assists and starred in the league's All-Star games. Both teams will battle out to cement themselves as the second-place team in the standings with the playoffs around the corner. Tonight, as usual, I'm joined by Rona Lightbody. My name is Grant Young, and we are back for Women's British Basketball League action. It's been a busy weekend at PlaySport here. Busy weekend here at PlaySport for basketball. Not only that, but Rona, congratulations on yesterday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Strathclyde Basketball
Solid
League.
team effort there.
So well done to the team for that win yesterday. So, yeah, it's been a lot of basketball here this weekend. We'll get on to the team lineups. For the Leicester Riders, they are not got Raven Peoples tonight. She is not in the lineup. That's a big miss for them. But they've got Taylor O'Brien, Katie Januszewska, Lauren Dabbs, Jessica Eadsworth Gates, Elise Tweedy, Shod Aboud, Athena Thompson, Marisa Hamilton, Sam Ashby and Mackenzie Johnson. She's the captain for them tonight. On to now the home team as they're being introduced to the court as well. You have got number 4 Robin Lewis, number 5 Samantha Roscoe, 9's Hannah Robb, 10 Tian Omar Jones, Ariadna Puyol, Athenia Putra, Erin McGarrigan, you've got Bintu Lowe, Lake and James, Kirsty Brown, Alex McIntosh and Kerry McGee. Rona, we're 6 minutes away from tip. We are in for a really close encounter after last weekend's game. What do you think we should expect?
I think we're going to look at both teams and they're going to go out and they're going to go toe-to-toe tonight. Hardly Leicester, they have their noses in front. They've got the win on their home court. Big word, bounce back ability. That's what Gladiators are going to look to come out and do today. They're going to, I'm sure, be looking for a 5+ point win, to be able to take that head-to-head. Riders have still got to go play Hatters again, who obviously have fallen short to London Lions Day. And do you know what? It's just really great, exciting basketball that we've got this deep into the season. Penultimate game for the Riders, last game of the regular season for the Gladiators, and we're still jostling for position in the league.
Yeah, so as the teams continue to be introduced, for the Gladiators we see Sam Roscoe is going to be in the starting lineup. They've kind of probably missed her input in offense the last couple of weeks.
I think they definitely have, and I think a big factor in the Riders loss potentially was that lack of spark off the bench. Not that Roscoe necessarily does tend to come off the bench, but we only had 6 bench points as a team total last weekend, and that's something they're going to want to look to improve upon. Riders themselves, they did a great job of packing the key. They really tied it up in there because we've seen some really nice high-low actions from the bigs at Caledonia. But Riders, they obviously had scouted the report, they got inside and they made it tough for them, and they just, they helped dominate the paint. Like you've mentioned, Peoples isn't here today, so that's a big loss. But Riders, you look across the stat sheet, and again, multiple players are stuffing multiple stats on their team, so you know there's going to be other players that are going to step up. There's GB caps in there's returning players. They've always got a good core squad, and Riders have always been up there and they've always been challenging for things, and I don't expect them to be any less today. Yeah,
Mackenzie Johnson leads them, as we said in the intro there, second season with the Riders. She is 4th in assists in the league. They're also got Taylor O'Brien high up in scoring. She's just graduated from our first year pro at Florida State. But we're in for a really close game, as Rona just touched on. It's going to be a really big game for where the final standings go. Both teams kind of going through their final kind of warm-up and preparations. And yeah, PlaySport's filling up, and it's been great to see this season the attendances across both the men's and the women's game.
And I think you can just see how it's grown, and you can have quite a pessimistic attitude in Scotland, when the Timneys came in and took over the team, and then last season when they said they were taking them out the Emirates, and there was a bit of humming and hawing, but I think it's amazing. The crowds you're getting in really are behind the teams. I've had people who have never watched a game before, and they're like, it's amazing. And my in-laws were down at the venue yesterday, and they're like, what an amazing place, and they've been an East Coast Bride pretty much all their lives. And I think you've got to see it to believe it, and being here. And yesterday having the Strathclyde Local League basketball finals, it was just amazing. I was like, we didn't even have to check what lines we were playing to. Usually when you're going out to play in a final, you're like, right, check what one's the badminton, what colour's the netball, where's the hockey. But as you come out in the courts there, it's good to play. The ball bounces everywhere it should bounce, the backboards, you don't have to worry about them falling off. I think there's an incident in the playoff finals up in Dundee, and what an amazing facility, and it's great to see it growing. I mean, first year in this facility, and like you say today, it's looking busy out there.
And this thing, with the fan zone, people are coming earlier. People aren't just turning up for the game. People, like, fan zone's open an hour and a half before the game, and there's already fans sitting mulling around, getting a beer, having some food, and it's a good place to be.
No, it definitely is. And then if you've got the younger ones, like you say, they can come in and there's usually colour and there's like the clapper boards. I mean, maybe one's 10 months and even she likes shaking those defence things. And you know, you've got Minimus, you've got Maximus, you've got the candy floss. I mean, what else can you want, right? And obviously there's not going to mention the brand name of beer machine that seems to really keep bringing people back as well.
It's amazing the simple things from Scottish people, the beer vending machine. But no, it's even like that, like you were saying that about the hand clappers. My daughter's here tonight, she's fully kitted out, Gladiators top, the hand clapper and even the Mini Moose soft toy. So it's all going on here. And yeah, we're 2 minutes away from tipping what's going to be a really exciting game. The big wonder is how Leicester are going to play without Raven Peoples and what that will mean for them as well.
I think they'll be dangerous because you look at them, yes, they're slightly shorter now without that extra height, but they're going to be fast and they're going to be intense, and that's the style of play, you know, the Gladiators like to play. So I'm really looking forward to watching these two teams go toe to toe today.
Leicester into their huddle, the Gladiators just getting their final shots up. Tony McDonald looking for the ball so we can get going. Chris Dodds, 1 minute to go. The referees for the night, as you just said, Chris Dodds, Chris Curl and Yassam Isi. There will be our 3 officials for this evening. We've got the sponsored tip as well for tonight. And it's just amazing what this place has done. Like, we didn't have sponsored games last season because people are coming to watch the game. You've got a pretty captive audience. It's grown throughout the season. We've seen the men have had numerous sellouts. The women are getting closer to becoming using both sides, and it's a great to see.
It is. Anything that grows the game in the country. I was down for the Euro Cup final, you know, in London, Copper Box, and that place was packed out, you know, and everybody was into it. And I'm like, that's just amazing. Like, up here in Glasgow, down there in London, that's what you want to see, and that's really what you want to see for women's basketball as well. And congrats to London Lions for that win, because I tell you, I was on the edge of my seat from minute 1 to the last.
That Holly Winterburn 3.
I was really busy telling that Turkish coach to get out because he was hanging down in that bottom corner, and we spied it. We're like, as if he's going to be like, oh, sorry, Rona, off I go.
Does she not know who you are? But as both teams are just entering the floor, we've got for the Leicester Riders their coach Ben Stanley. He's in his first season as the Riders coach after being at the Solent Kestrels. And his team come into this in a bit of form. As we said, 9 wins out of the last 10. They are only defeats to the London Lions and the Sheffield Hatters. The starting 5s are on the court. For your home team Gladiators, it's Sam Roscoe, Hannah Robb, Ariadna Puyol and Lakin James and Kirsty Brown. For the visitors, it is Taylor O'Brien, Katie Januiska, Marisa Hamilton, Sam Ashby and Mackenzie Johnston. As we wait for the ceremonial tip. Good to see as well a couple of the Caledonia Gladiators men's team in attendance as well tonight after their good win on the road on Friday night away to the Bristol Flyers in the BBL. And as customary, the home fans take to their feet. Oh, that might be the best throw up of the season. That may be better than Chris Dodds' normal one.
That was high though. She's been in the weight room.
Good going. We're ready to go. Thumbs are up, and Chris Dodds will launch the ball. I was launched the one before.
Des has got them going down there, doesn't he?
I love it. It's a good crowd tonight, and definitely the sponsors tip was better than Chris Dodds', but we're off, and Mackenzie Johnson has the ball, being heavily guarded by our former teammate Hannah Robb.
4 former riders today in the Gladiators lineup.
Absolutely, yes. Great inlet ball there. Mackenzie Johnson just saves it out to Taylor O'Brien, heavily guarded by Lakin James. Hamilton fakes a shot late in the clock, doesn't go, misses everything. Great 24-second defense there by the Gladiators.
Really nice, solid work, and that's exactly what you want to be doing, is getting out there and putting your stamp on the game early.
And as we just touched on, the Riders have so many offensive threats. From Taylor O'Brien, Sam Ashby, Mackenzie Johnson herself, it's going to be it'll be interesting to see how the Gladiators defend throughout, but they're working the ball away on offense. Ariadne Puyo goes for the 2, misses it, and Mackenzie Johnson is off and running again. She backs off it slightly, gets the ball to Ashby. Ashby's had a very impressive season. She's made her international debut for GB this year, and a foul's called. She'll go to line for 2.
I think that's one of the ones where, you know, the players sold it well.
Sam Ashby, 90% shooter from the free throw line. Misses the first though. I was about to say beforehand and tried to warn off the commentator's curse there by saying 90% almost automatic. Misses both. We're still scoreless. A minute into this game. Ariadne Puyo dishes it off to Hannah Robb, who fakes the shot, drives inside. Lovely under the basket layup there by Hannah Robb. You wonder if, being with last week's defeat, being the former Rider, what we'll see from Hannah tonight. Into O'Brien. Drives inside. Dishes it out. Extra pass to Janueska. Into the corner. Great defence by the Gladiators. Forcing Riders late to shot. Oh, great steal. Kirsty Brown's off and running now. She stole the ball well there. Going all the way. Oh, didn't want to do that. Picked the ball up, left the ground, had to force a pass there.
That's one of those ones, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but if you just stopped or you jump stopped and then you can maybe have the step through, or you've got a split second more to make that decision, but once you're in the air, you're bailing yourself out the last
I think
minute.
it was also being playing at the 5 and dribbling the ball three quarters of the way up the court. It was that panic, but again, great defense by both teams. Oh, great pass in there, but Ashby makes it. Great find by Hamilton.
And nice work on the offside there by the Riders as well. That's what had the Gladiators' heads turned because of the work they were doing. And I think that's so important for younger players to see, that even if you're not involved in the play, you've got to keep moving.
Lakin James drives inside out to Sam Roscoe. She makes it. Great interior drive by Lakin James.
And there's that Roscoe impact you talked about that they've maybe been missing.
Foul called on Kirsty Brown, I believe. Blocking foul. And we've got an early change here for the Gladiators. As Puyol checks out, and it is Robin Lewis into the game. One of the 4 former Riders.
Indeed.
3 now on the floor. Riders trying to get the ball in, they do just in time. That could have been a nasty collision, but O'Brien's allowed to go all the way. An easy 2 again for the Riders. Quick shot, doesn't go. Touchback by Robin Lewis. Robin Lewis doesn't gather it though from the Kirsty Brown touchback. The pace of this game is pretty high. I'm interested to see both teams can maintain it. Good find inside. There'll be someone open, but Ashby takes the top 3 and she makes it. Good start for Sam Ashby on both ends of the floor.
This is exactly the sort of start we expect to see. A little bit frenetic, both teams getting into their shot, finding looks, but also get some defensive stops.
Brown fakes the mid-range, drives inside. Doesn't get the ball to go, but Roscoe gathers it, and that's what the presence of Sam Roscoe can do.
Indeed, and that's that impact. You know, twice I've now said it in a very short amount of time, but that's what you need, and that's what you need her to be doing, is getting in that paint, pulling down the boards.
O'Brien drives and finds the shooter. It's the extra pass. Mackenzie Johnson for 3. She gets it to go 2. The Riders are finding that open shooter.
Riders are moving that ball, aren't they? It is swinging from side to side, in and out, and you can see the Gladiators players are scrambling. They're moving around on their defensive switches, but it's tough.
Every time there's just that extra pass. Lakin James for 3 after assist, doesn't get hers to go, does she? Oh, and over the stanchion, out of bounds, Riders ball. And it was something, it was LeBron James and JJ Redick podcast been doing. They've been talking a lot about that hockey assist, that extra pass, and Riders are getting the open look.
I'd always rather make the extra pass for the sweet assist than score the bucket.
Really?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Because a nice pass always looks better. A shot's a shot, right?
Okay, fair.
But think about the highlight plays of the passes.
Easy 2 for Johnson, as Elise Tweedy checks in, the former Caledonia Pride player. Oh, we've got a ball as Lucas Poliza checks into the game. As the ball's dropped from the side.
And everyone's going, that wasn't me.
Uh-oh, an embarrassed child down there. But the game continues, no harm caused. Lewis with the open three. Doesn't go flat, but a bit of hustle there from Kirsty Brown. The Riders are up and going again. Gladiators 0 from 3 or 4 from 3 so far. Whereas the Riders, I think, are 3 from 3. Or 3 from 4 they'll be.
Lots of zeros, lots of threes, lots of fours there.
A lot of numbers. A lot of numbers.
You're right, 0 from 3. And 2 from 3. Thank you, Live Stats.
Close enough. East Forfeit's checked in for the Riders there at that stoppage. Hannah Robb drives inside under the hoop now, looking for that outlet pass. High to Sam Roscoe. They're getting some success from there, but nothing called. Great play. And it's a 12-6 start in favour of the Riders. They've coming out, firing all cylinders. Big hedge there for the Riders. Mismatch here with East Forfeit's against Kirsty Brown. They switch. Lake and James with a tenacious defence. And Gladiators gather it. Frenetic pace to this game, as we've touched on a number of times now. So Lewis for 2, touch the line, 2 goes.
It was just a toe, wasn't it? And you could see it was on the line, but that should be a 3. And I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted already watching.
Absolutely, me too. This is an incredible pace, this game. Kirsty Brown steals it. She's looking to go the full way. Oh, great hands. Mackenzie Johnson, Robin Lewis diving on the floor. Gathered. A bit of cam. Hannah Robb makes the 3, and the crowd love it.
And they needed that, and that was just really nice, smart play. You know, the dive on the floor, the dishing it out, and making that extra pass like you talked about. People just getting a little warning there.
I guess one of the Gladiators touched the ball when it went for the hoop. 12-11 there, and that basket in the end came from a great steal from Kirsty Brown just inside their own half.
It did indeed, and that's what you're going to have to do. Step up the lane and be hard and really commit to it sometimes. Or all the time.
Eddie McCarrigan checks into the game. Backdoor to Ashby. She looks to go up against Lake and James. Great find. Well played there by the Riders. Sam Ashby gets another 2 to go.
Nice use of her footwork there, you know, getting round 3 players on her. Cuts right through.
Ashby up to 7 points personal. Robin Lewis drives inside, dishes it out to Erin McCarrigan at the elbow. Both teams active hands on defence.
They are, and you know, they're moving the ball around, and I think Gladiators, they've got to use their height to their advantage. Riders are doing really good at using their intensity, their hustle, and there's that little bit of foot speed they've maybe got as their advantage. So Gladiators have got to go out there and play their game as much as Riders are out there playing theirs. Because they're definitely, Riders have got their tails up at the moment, and they're playing some lovely basketball. Sam
Roscoe picking up a boot, has just checked in the full court. Mackenzie Johnson back out. Good hands, forces her to pick up the ball. Ashby fakes the shot, she goes for it again. Late in the clock, some brilliant defence today. Gets it off. Basket doesn't go. Tremendous play. Lake and James spins against Ashby. And again. Doesn't get it to go. Gets her own rebound. Looking for a foul, I think. Doesn't get either.
How's she getting those boards in there against the bigger players? Nice hustle. Incredible
hustle. Eats for Yates, kicks it out. Abood in the corner for 3.
Boom.
And makes it. Riders really taking advantage of these open looks. Oh, Mackenzie Johnson almost gets another steal. Kirsty Brown stealing Tweedy inside. Oh, fakes the shot, doesn't get it. Almost turnover again.
Single figure shot clock here.
Now look to ice. Yeah, Roscoe open 3. makes it, doesn't even touch the net, straight down.
That's what you call a dagger.
17-14 in the favour of the Riders. 2 minutes 20 to go. The crowd chant defence. Interesting matchup putting McCarrigan and Johnson. Ashby drives by Lakin James. An electric truck start from the new GB International.
And with James pushing that high up on her, our teammates have got to have her back and make sure, you know, the person's coming across in the help defence.
Brown tries to drive baseline, doesn't get it to go, but somehow scramble plays. James for 3 now, makes it!
Is that still an assist?
I think Kirsty Brown deserves the assist for that. I don't know if the stats will give it to her. But Ashby left open. Oh, great cut and drive there by Mackenzie Johnson. The Gladiators defence goes to sleep, and timeout called by the Caledonia Gladiators. 21-17. We've got just over a minute and a half to go. And one electric start to this game.
Not even had time to refresh my live stats. That's how much
I'm hoping
up and down, up and down, up
I'm
and
hoping
down.
mine's been doing it automatically.
But really liking the style of basketball Riders are playing. You know, we've talked about they're missing probably one of their key players. I mean, she's averaging a double-double for them, so you'd think that's a loss. But they've done what I thought they would do. They've come out, they've adjusted their style of play. They're playing hard, they're playing fast. They've flustered the Gladiators, and now Gladiators are trying to play at their speed. You see Gladiators, I think, do their best work when they go back to what works for them. You know, they're moving the ball around, they're taking a breath, and they're not getting caught up in that frantic style of play. Riders just making some really nice extra passes. They know where their teammates are at. You know, you can see that they just understand how their systems work, and they know where to find that player. And also, with Gladiators playing high and playing out on that three-point line, if they're blowing through because the Gladiators' lines aren't there and the defence isn't coming across, we're seeing them getting wide open layups.
Absolutely. And Ashby leads the scoring for the Riders with 9, and it's Sam Roscoe for the Gladiators on 7. Looks like Bintu Lowe's checking in for the just mentioned Sam Roscoe.
And also props to Riders. At the moment, they're 81% field goals from the floor. I mean, that's good going, but again, a lot of that, they're getting layups at the basket, so you'd expect them to be high. 6 of 7 from 2-point land, 3 from 4 of 3-point land.
And they're very much sharing the ball with 7 assists for the team.
Winning the rebound battle, winning the assist battle at the moment as well.
And then McCarrigan takes a quick 3, doesn't go, fights for her own rebound. And it's probably not the offense Chantel Handy was looking for at the time out, the quick 3. Stolen on the inbound play. 3-throw line jumper for Hannah Robb, and that's Kirsty Brown now really active on her defence.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want that length being used out there on that baseline.
The speed from Taylor O'Brien is, it looks like Taylor O'Brien just cuts in front.
Maybe even
And
cuts her own heel,
yeah,
to give her the stumble.
That's exactly. I couldn't think of the words there, but you got it for me, so thank you, Rona. Single fire shot clock as O'Brien still has the ball in her hand to Mackenzie. Abood in the corner. She made a 3 the last time she was here, but again, Kirsty Brown really active on defence. Doesn't go, and again, another 24-second violation for the Riders, but the Gladiators are off and running. Kirsty Brown fakes the shot, drives inside. Great 2-point play. She set the screen, rolled to the basket.
I almost thought she might go through in the left, but I'm like, smart, keeping it on your right hand, finishing in at the front.
Pressure on the ball handling from East 48. She drives inside against Bintu and blocked. Touched off of East 48, and it's a Gladiator ball.
And also it's, come off her. Really nice defensive play, and that's what's been missing on the Gladiators then, is, you know, like that defensive help, the second line, the third line. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what Bintu gives you as well. She gives that defensive presence. She's 8th in the in rebounding in the league. As Hamilton checks back in for Johnson. And this is probably the tallest almost that the Riders could go, maybe without East 48s on the floor. But this is probably their tallest, or the tallest lineup we've seen so far for them. McCarrigan finds Bintu. Kirsty Brown drives inside, spins. Late in the clock, Hannah Robb goes. Foul, referee's going to say it was a pass. So it'll be, I think, a sideline ball, baseline ball?
It's gone baseline.
Baseline.
Obviously, Tweedy, Rob, former teammates, Caledonia Pride. So they'll know each other game well.
Foul was called on Taylor O'Brien. Late in the quarter. Counting down. Force 3. And she makes it! Right on the buzzer. 24-21 in favour of the Gladiators. A buzzer beater 3. She looked rushed, but the moment of calm to score the basket.
She looked rushed, she looked off balance, she looked like, was that the right shot to take? But absolutely, because it went in. Any shot that goes in is the right shot to take, right? But I think, they needed that, and you could see her enthusiasm for it. You could then see Robin Lewis's enthusiasm, and that's what they sort of needed. They needed something to close that out. Riders, they're sitting in that zone, they're clogging the key, but that doesn't mean you can't attack the zone. It doesn't mean you can't move the ball to move the zone. If you don't move the ball, the zone doesn't have to move. So that's what they're going to have to look to do more of, and that's what I think you saw towards the end of that first quarter. Also, Riders, can they maintain that intensity? Can they maintain, the speed they're getting up down the floor? That's going to be tough to maintain for 40 minutes, but, I'm sure they can.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of rotation so far for the visitors. The Riders have already gone about 8 deep so far. Hannah Robb with that 3 leads, all scoring of the game of 10. Sam Ashby still leads for the Riders at 9. Team sharing around rebounds, split 6. Both teams loads of assists, sharing the ball nicely. 8 to the Gladiators, 7 to the Riders. And this active defence we've seen from the Gladiators, Rona, is really kind of coming to the fore. You've got the Gladiators already on 4 steals.
Yeah, and you can see just the way they're getting up and down the floor. Oh. So easily
If you
distracted.
didn't see there, it wasn't on your monitor screens there. It was the half-court or the behind-the-back three-point line shot. Got pretty close there, so Rona was distracted by that. But yes, active defence by the Gladiators.
It has been, and I think, Riders were the ones that came out and they really stamped their authority. Although Gladiators started that first play of the game, they got the 24-second call. But then after that, they sort of lost that sort of second and third line of defence.
The lights are back up, the players are back on their feet. Both teams out before the buzzer. I think I would have been taking as long as I could.
Nah, they're athletes. This is what they live for, game day.
Venya Putras checks in for the first time, and Puyol's back on the floor for the Gladiators. It's the same lineup. No, it's not. Janizeska's back on the floor for the Riders. And we're off and going for the second quarter. As we said, the Gladiators lead by 3, 24-21. And what was a pulsating first quarter, we'll be hoping for more of the same, Rona. Putra found inside, and she goes and one. The Ukrainian international straight into on the court there, making an impact.
That was a really nice fight. There's that nice pass I was talking about.
Yeah. Is that one?
Yeah, I love that. That's what I live for.
And that's the impact Putra's made. If she makes her first, she can often get going into the game. She'll look delighted by making that one. 3 throw goes up, and she makes the and one play. 3 points for Putra. 13 seconds on 3 points. So O'Brien gets a lot of space. Her speed to the ball has been brilliant for the Riders. And Bintu Low fighting for the ball. She's going to go all the way. And it's going to be a travel.
That's that gather step sometimes though, isn't it? Where you pick the ball up, but she was quite far away as well. I feel like she was going for the MJ half from the free throw line.
Gladiator CEO alongside us is not very happy with Chris Dodds calling that. He's claiming the gather step. Extra pass again. Hamilton elbow 3. That's very much thrown against the backboard.
Maybe a little bit rushed there as well. We've seen them get better looks and better shots.
Puyol makes that extra pass. Hannah Robb for 3 and it goes. And is that one of those other passes again?
It is indeed. But also
quick
basketball's a game of
timeout
runs.
called by the Riders.
Game of runs, and Gladiators having the runs. So I can see exactly why Coach Stanley, he's called this timeout. Give his team a minute. get their heads together again and go back out to what works for them. But for me, that stemmed from what I just said. It was a quick shot. It wasn't maybe the look they were looking for, and they didn't really make Gladiators play much defence. Gladiators have then come down the other end and punished them.
45 seconds been played in this second quarter. The Gladiators have extended their lead. It's 30 points to 21. With just over 9 minutes on the clock. And I suppose the coaching team of the Gladiators will be delighted with that kind of that active defence, rushing now Riders into making early shots in the shot clock and giving them better transition looks.
Exactly, and that's what you want to do as a team. You want to make the other team have the most awkward, difficult shot at their end and give yourselves the easiest, highest percentage shot at your end. At the moment, Gladiators are raining in the threes, and they've managed to stem the tide of that really nice work of Riders getting to the hoop and blowing past that defence.
Gladiators now 5 from 9 from 3. Hannah Robb up to 13 points personal.
She's already scored 4 more points than she did total in the last game where she had 9.
Good counting there.
I'm doing it while she's only at 13 and I don't have to count any further or higher.
Been really impressed by the way in which Taylor O'Brien's kind of broken the full court press so far by the Gladiators. She's not been slowed down at all. Full pressure on her though. She looks to step by Erin McCarrick, and she does. She goes all the way to the basket. Great.
Nice tough finish.
Absolutely. Brilliant play.
Lays it in like it's easy.
Oh, done for the seal. Sealing off Bintu was. Chris Dodds was on that one. You just saw her left hand just round the back of Hamilton it was.
And you think actually maybe Riders, when they do have a smaller lineup, that is when they're more effective. When they actually went a little bit taller, that sort of matchup just wasn't.
O'Brien just driving down again, but too heavy on the layup.
Almost that needed a bit of contact to take a bit of the sting off it, didn't it?
Puyol drives inside, fakes the shot, doesn't get a goal, gets her own rebound. Elbow 3 for Hannah Robb, doesn't go. Putra fighting and gets it. Nice 2 points there for the Ukrainian.
And that's what they should be doing with a side advantage.
She's going to have to step in now to stop O'Brien again, going coast to coast, and she does with the block.
Just a little bit rushed again from the Riders.
Coach Stanley looking a wee bit frustrated there. Putra fakes the shot. Ben.
Yeah, I was wondering when that 3 second was coming. I was like, she needs to get herself quickly back out and back in. I think she actually had time to get out the key and get back in before the pass was made.
It was almost as if she wanted the first pass rather than the extra pass to come in.
And then when it hadn't come in on that,
the second she catches the ball, the referee's always blowing that one. It's a 9-point game, 8 minutes on the clock in this second quarter. The pace has not dropped. It very much feels like a playoff game as we head towards playoff season here in the Women's Basketball League. Great steal, great active hands again. Putra touches it off, Bintu gathered it, and the Gladiators are off and running. They find Putra inside. 2-point layup gone, and this is the type of Putra that can put up big numbers tonight.
Yeah, and that's what you see sometimes. She just gets into her rhythm, doesn't she?
O'Brien driving again. Hamilton fakes the 3. Putra now handling the ball. She finds Puyol. Extra pass, corner. Hannah Robb for 3, and it goes.
You can tell she's feeling it. She's looking for that look, and Riders know she can shoot 3. She did the exact same for them down in Loughborough.
Hannah Robb having an absolutely storming night so far against her former club. Oh, but Janueska's open under the basket. She was lost on the assignment. And that's the easy look Riders will be looking for to get going.
And that's what they do well. They scramble the Gladiators' defence with all the movement, the cuts, the screens, and then she's wide open.
Lakin James looking to create the offence. Puyol skips it cross court. Hannah Robb in the corner again. Doesn't go. Puyol fighting the rebound. It's in the hands of Hamilton. I think the roof would have blown off this place if Hannah had made that 3.
Indeed.
Hannah Robb up to 16 points in this game. That's a hard screen, came in, looked a bit late and setting her feet, but the refs say play on. Hamilton goes up, bobbles round and drops. Down to a 10-point lead. The Gladiators had up 37-27. Pucha fakes the shot, drives inside.
I think you
Jump
love
ball.
to see the hustle. Everybody getting involved in there, jumping in, getting down.
Subs in for both teams. Bintu Low checks out, Sam Roscoe checks back in. Whenever the perfectionist, Bintu's been really active in defence. Chantal Handy has a word of what she can do better. Putra had been only in the game for 4 minutes. 5 rebounds, 7 points.
It's not too shabby, is it? I would take those numbers.
Absolutely. Riders trying to get this ball in, they do, and eventually get the ball into Johnson's hands.
The length of Pujol on that inbound, you know, that's tough.
6 foot. Puyol is very difficult player to play against with her defence. Almost plays like a foul, and it's an offensive foul there. Puyol sells the fall probably again, but the Gladiators will take it.
Sportsmanship, right?
Just over 5.5 to go in the half. This pulsating encounter here. Puyol's found by Lakin James. Pucha up against a smaller Mackenzie Johnson, but doesn't take the mismatch to try and find it. Hannah Robb drives instead, dishes out. That's one of those occasions that 2 points is better than the pass. But again, great hustle there by Putra. 10 on the clock.
Just overcooked that a wee bit.
Is that a case of the Gladiators overpassing?
No, I think it was the right idea. It just had a little bit.
Great hands by Puyol to rip the ball away. Foul called by Nabood. Robin Lewis checks in for Hannah Robb. What an impressive start to this game for Hannah.
Yeah, she's earned a couple of minutes rest there, and I'm sure we'll be seeing her for the end of the half.
Lakin James finds Putra, drives against Tweedy, extra pass out, another one. Clock's ticking down, Lakin James behind the back, step back for 2. Gets it to go, lovely looking play. She just always looks so calm. Subs in for the Riders. Mackenzie Johnson now bothered by Robin Lewis. Putra came to help. There's someone open. Good help defense by Sam Roscoe. Janueska's open in the corner. Robin Lewis, smallest player in the court, gathers the rebound. They find Putra early. She spins left. She goes right. Doesn't make it. And is it at moments like this where maybe with the pace being so frantic for the first 16 minutes that someone just needs to kind of put their hand on the ball and kind of go, you know what, let's slow it down, let's get some good offense as Mackenzie Johnson just turns it over.
Definitely, and I think sometimes people misinterpret slowing the game down. Slowing it down doesn't mean like everything is
Use
like...
the full 24/7, yeah, of course.
But it just means that you make smarter passes, you're not as frenetic, you're just sort of breathing through it. Well earned rest there from Putra. Kirsty Brown checking back in as well. I feel like she never quite got into her rhythm sort of in her first sort of moments on the court, so I'll be excited to see what she puts in a shift now.
Did generate a few steals.
Indeed.
But she'll see the success of Putra underneath the basket on the offensive side of things and looking to contribute that way. Sam Roscoe with the ball. Dishes off to Ariana Puyol. Robin Lewis finds Kirsty Brown. Goes left, step back. And as if you just asked for it, Rona, you got
like,
what you asked for.
I will give you points.
Timeout called by the Leicester Riders.
But that also comes from the ball, you know, was at the left, it was swung over to the right, she's then attacked the gap in the middle, and that's what I sort of said before. If you don't move the ball, the zone doesn't have to move. And the minute you start to move a zone, that's where, you know, even the most oiled, well put together zones are going to start to come apart a little bit. There's going to be gaps. Kirsty found a gap, and that's that same place we saw her come in up from the left hand side the last time, where she kept it on her right and went up and finished. So she knows where she's going. Women on a mission, nice finish, forced the Riders into a timeout.
41-27. The Gladiators are leading this second quarter, 17 points to 6. And it's their defence which is definitely helping them build on this lead. They're moving the ball really nicely on offence, but it's starting with their defence. Really, loads of active hands, generating steals, and even getting a couple of blocks.
Yeah, and I think that's not to take away from what the Riders are doing, because they are a little bit more undersized, and I do think they play, you know, good, fast, intense basketball, and I think sometimes that shorter lineup is working for them better.
Teams are coming back out on the floor. Just over 3.5 minutes to go in the half. A pulsating encounter so far. It's been an enjoyable watch so far.
It has indeed. It's one of those ones where if you're a neutral, you'll be enjoying it. Other teams around the league maybe watching on, wondering who they're going to maybe meet in this first round of playoffs, because obviously women's game is one and done.
One and done, exactly.
Survive and advance. Wonder where I stole that from.
Ashby drives against Lake and James. She checks back out. Great hands by Puyol. And it's just forcing Riders to force these passes. We've seen a couple of turnovers, a couple of times O'Brien, who's not on the floor right now, having to go the full way herself. I'll be interested to see who can get that bit of control for the Riders. Hard screen shot, but Roscoe jumps round it and gets the steal.
And that came from her fighting to get through the screen, so then she got to the player in time to be able to intercept the ball.
Lewis drives, dishes out Lake and James, spins against Mackenzie Johnson, goes left hand, bit heavy, but Ariana Puyol gathers it under the basket. Brilliant find. She goes for the steal as well. Foul called. Hand straight up, she was like, yep, just trying to steal another cookie from the jar.
Yeah.
Talking about playoffs and matchup, how impressive was that from the Durham player yesterday, Griffiths Wallace?
Griffiths Wallace, 50 points. I was like, dearie me. She went off. 2 records, 1 game.
She's threatened that all season, and it's great to see it happen. Ashby out in the corner against Lake and James, gets round it, finds a shot. Semi-blocked, I think, by Roscoe, forcing Tweedy to go up. And again, Gladiators forcing Riders late in the clock. Puyol skips by Ashby. Extra pass. Lake and James in and out. Ashby harassed under the basket. Janoeska's off. Overcooks the pass a little bit, not allowing Johnson to get a shot up.
That was a little 3-on-2 situation the Riders had there, but just because that pass was overweighted, it then just meant, you know, that it took the sting out of it. Gladiators were able to recover, but, you know, Riders have drawn the foul, got the ball on the baseline, 14 seconds.
And that's both teams on 3 fouls for the quarter. I feel as if this game's flown by. We're not having lots of stops as we've seen sometimes.
I know, I was actually looking and I was like, Gladiators have been to the line once.
Let's not jinx this.
And Leicester have been to the line
Let's not
once.
jinx this.
3 free throws the entire game so far.
Let's not jinx this. Oh, we've jinxed it.
But I think that also maybe shows that, you know, the referees are letting the game flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both
and it's
teams
making
are
for a
playing
more
good
enjoyable
basketball.
game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's contact, there's things happening. Now, I have spied a sign in the crowd and it says 4,000 miles to see. I can't see the last bit, 23. And I'm like, oh, is that somebody? Must be somebody I'm watching, right? That's impressive.
Oh, yes, top right. Someone might need to hold that up so we can see it better, but 4,000 miles. Where's 4,000 miles away?
Feel like that sign's 4,000. I want to say 23, Lakin.
Yeah, I'd say it's Lake and James. As we've got a baseline ball here. Brilliant find eventually. Late. I was going to say late in the clock. Oh, late call there by referee Dawes. The Play Sport crowd are not happy with that one.
It was late.
That's almost his one. If this shot goes in, he's letting that go. But we just said there hadn't been that many fouls, and And now Chantel Handy's been given his warning as well. Shouldn't have spoke.
But again, this is only going to be third and fourth free throws of Leicester's game today.
Absolutely, Mackenzie Johnson makes the first one. As subs are in for the Gladiators, McCarrican checks in for Lakin James. Lakin James on 5 points, 2 fouls. And also 4 assists. Chantel Handy giving referee Curl a earful there on the sidelines. Kirsty Brown back out to Puyol. Extra pass to Roscoe for 3. Doesn't go. Rebound out to Robin Lewis. They find Kirsty Brown inside. They've got some success from that, but it's the cut from Puyol. She does that up and under again. Doesn't go. Third chance now for the Gladiators. They find Roscoe inside. She was there for a while, but ref didn't call, and foul's called. Roscoe will go to the line for 2. Score is 43 points to 29. We've got just under 90 seconds on the clock of this half. Two shots at the line for Sam Roscoe. She's on 7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist so far. 13 minutes she's been on the floor. She makes the first, extending that Gladiator lead. Misses the second, but gets the ball back. The Gladiators have been really active on both sides. Puyol drives. Extra pass again. Doesn't go. Taylor O'Brien off and running, but again overplays the pass. East Vieso almost ended up into the press section there over the electric boards, but she's okay, and the game has less than a minute and a half remaining.
Just feel one of the Rider players, they just need to calm it down a little bit. You know, they need to get a little bit more responsibility and just hold the ball up and get a better open look.
They've only scored 8 points for the quarter. Robin Lewis now for 3, and she gets it to go. Brilliant find there for the Gladiators. 2 for 1 possible situation here as Hamilton gathers it. She finds Eastforth Yates. The ball is touched. Yep, looked like there was an extra touch off Eastforth Yates. And it is a Gladiator sideline ball. .28 seconds on the clock to end this half. Anna McCarrican round the screen of Kirsty Brown. She skips inside, doesn't go, overshoots the shot. And Mackenzie Johnson's off and running. Force pass again, but O'Brien gathers it, and she makes it. Riders really needed that to go even into the half. And she almost gets a steal. Kick ball called on Puyol. Riders will have another chance here. 1.4 seconds on the clock. A bit of momentum here for the Riders potentially. Both teams had a quick huddle there to decide on a quick play. Riders with no timeouts for the half. As they look to create an offense here. Late in the clock, they go back door, forced up. Good hands there by Sam Roscoe to knock it out. Shot clock, game clock, sorry, ticked down there. It's only 0.3 on the clock. It's almost got to be thrown at the basket. Almost a volleyball type set. No one needed to get this to go in. She gets it up, doesn't go, and that's the half. The Gladiators lead 47-31. A pulsating pace that started this game. Both teams early on traded baskets, but the Gladiators come out on top. They won that quarter, 23 points to 10. We're hopefully going to be able to go courtside with Rona shortly, with one of the coaches. But yeah, an amazing start to this game for the Gladiators. The defensive from both teams has been great, but the Gladiators now got into a rhythm late in that first quarter, second quarter, to really push ahead this lead to 16 points. They've been led in scoring by GB and Scottish international Hannah Robb with 16 points. Mackenzie Johnston and Sam Ashby are on 9 apiece. With the lights going off, I can no longer see if we've got a coach walking towards Rona, who's down courtside for the interviews. It looks like it's going to be Donny, who's coming over to Rona now courtside. And again, yeah, 47-31. And we are going to go courtside now with Ronnie, who just combined Ronnie and Donny and Rona together to get Ronnie, but Rona and Donny as we go now. Yeah, so we're just waiting on Steve to come up. He's just walking up the stairs. A brilliant first half there for the Gladiators. Really kind of putting a few wrongs from the last few games. As yes, Steve's here. He's just put on the headset. Steve, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. It's my first time. First time in the broadcast.
What a brilliant game so far. 47-31 lead for our home team Gladiators. It's been a brilliant game so far.
I've loved it. I mean, I think they're defending tremendously well. They're getting up and scoring under the basket. I can't believe Robin, she's on fire. I don't know how many threes she scored, but it's absolutely tremendous to watch, you know. It's a secret weapon. We're going to make it a top 3 shooter for next year. Nobody will defend her.
So Steve, let's talk about how this year's gone. We touched on it a lot in the pre-game actually about what this place has done. You're talking about yesterday they had the Strathclyde League finals on here. But what does this really do for you and for what this club's all about, having play sport here?
Like, I love it. I mean, I always wanted to be at the heart of a community like East Kilbride, which you know, they've got behind us in a tremendous way and supported us, and that's shown not just in the people that come along to watch the games, but also in the kids that come along to play in our community. And I mean, every week we're getting nearly 500 kids playing in the community games now, and that's just the first year. I think we'll build to 10 times that over the next 5 years. And can you imagine Scotland when we'll get 5,000 kids playing every week? I mean,
brilliant. And then you just have to see, even we've got the kids taking shots now during halftime in the stands. Loads of kit, fans wearing kits of all ages, from replica T-shirts to the jerseys. It's really good to see.
Yeah, it kind of went better this year. I mean, our merchandise sales have been through the roof, and we set out to discover what makes a casual fan a fanatical fan, and I think we're making progress understanding that. And you can see now that the fans that come along, they're noisy, they're vociferous, they get behind the team, they buy the merch, they eat the food in the arena. I mean, they're behind us in more than just support. They really want to help the club on its way, and it kind of went better this year, to be honest.
And I suppose we've had a number of sellouts for the men's games. We're seeing the attendances growing for the women's games, and that must be great for you guys in the kind of the back office to see that kind of growth.
Yeah, I mean, we took a risk with the women's attendance because at the start of the season I made it absolutely clear we weren't giving tickets away, because I feel genuinely that if you give the tickets away, you undermine the value of the sport. And so we took the risk that we wouldn't have much of a support in the early days of the women's game. 2 weeks ago we broke the Scottish women's basketball record with 917 fully paid up tickets. And next year, you know, we've had 10 or 12 sellout games in the men. Next year I want, you know, a good number of sellouts for next year, and then I think the year after we'll be selling out men and women's games on a regular basis. And you can see the support for the women. Slightly different audience for the men in a lot of cases, but we're targeting the audience, we're bringing them in, And the great thing about the women's game, it's definitely a more technical game than the men's. It's below the rim as opposed to above the rim, but it's a fantastically exciting game to watch. And I think particularly fantastically exciting with the way Chantel's got us playing. Very aggressive style, very fast up the court. And when Robin goes up that court, I just see a blur, and I think that must be Robin going up the court. She's super fast.
And that's it. They've come out almost with that. Obviously, the tight defeat last weekend against the Riders. They've come to kind of with redemption in mind with the way they're playing on both ends.
Well, I love a bounce back game, to be honest, because the team came out knowing that the first thing in their mind is they don't want to beat twice in 2 games in a row with the same team. And when Narrow lost the first tie, I thought we were a wee bit unlucky at times, but they've came out on fire tonight, and I think it took them a wee while to warm up and get into their rhythm. I think it's one that got into their rhythm is tremendous. And what's good is the scoring's taking place across the team, so they're sharing the ball quite well, and various people are scoring, but it's just a tremendous thing to watch. The women's game to me it has me on the edge of my seats. It's tremendously exciting, and I love watching it,
So let's talk about this season as a whole so far, Steve. You've had, obviously, we've just touched on this, play sport. We've had both teams in Europe doing them amazingly well. The women got through the group stages. The men got a massive win here against Anvil, who were the defending champions. Has this been a successful season both on and off the court then?
Yeah, without a doubt. It probably surpassed my expectations. We didn't expect to do well at all in Europe, really. The expectations among everybody was it was a learning year, and I think we held our own, but more importantly sent a message to the European teams that British basketball is something to be reckoned with, and we're back in Europe next year without a doubt. I think the men will build on last year, and I think there's an opportunity for the women to really shine. Tremendous to see London Lions women win the Europe Cup. I think that was a tremendous thing for British basketball. Sad that they're not going to be there next year, but I think we'll carry that mantle into Europe and see if we can back them up and just making British teams credible.
And you saw that with how the women played. They had such big wins home and away against Benfica. We think of Benfica, you think of the big name of Portuguese sport and such, and to have them come into play sport, and then for our girls to go out, travel to Portugal and get a massive win.
Oh, who'd have thought that did I really think at the beginning of the year we'd have Benfica and Anvil and all these kind of people playing here? I didn't really understand the scope of what that really meant. I mean, for a European team and all their officials and their supporters to come to a place like East Kilbride and play top level basketball, I just think it gives me belief that we can do something tremendous. And what I take for the European campaign is we were bold enough to get in at the top level. We acquitted ourselves well, but we're not finished. I always said that this club would be sustainable, and so we build on that year after year. We're not looking for quick victories, we're not looking for quick trophies, we're looking for the ability to be performing at the top level and competing every single year, and that's what we're building here. I'm not too worried, but I always thought we peaked with the trophy final win with the men last year. I worried a wee bit, but really I want to be winning every year, consistently every year, and being one of the teams that's talked about is having a winning mentality, and I think we've got that. I
suppose both squads will probably have the ambitions to finish this season both at the O2.
Without a doubt. I mean, we're excited because I think both men and the women could get to the O2, the finals in the O2 this year. I've cancelled all my holidays as a result. I'm not going away until
You've been on enough holidays, have you not?
Well, it's research. People say it's holidays. They tell me I'm going out to watch Orlando Magic. Really, I'm trying to cut a deal with Orlando Magic. You can believe it if you want, but it's research. But really...
was that research on the ski slopes too?
Yeah, well, sort of. You never know who you can meet in the ski slopes. You might meet a basketball fan. I think the key thing for us, though, is that we continue to build it. When you look at even the... I mean, it's a mix. It's the ingredients of a cake here. When you look at the 3-5-5 through, now introducing the 3-5-5 youngsters, we're building some dancers in there that will perform at the games in future years. We're doing the same with our basketballers, but I've got a belief that if you bring these kids through, they might end up team managers, physios, anything to do with professional sports is what we're trying to inspire in them here, not just players on the court, but almost all of these kids that play for our academy dream one day of stepping on that court and wearing that shirt, and I think that's a marvellous thing to do.
It's brilliant to see. And then we've obviously, this season's been a massive success in terms of getting bums on seats as such, and I jokingly sent you a message the other week about when we're going to see this 6,000 seater starting.
Yeah, I'm under pressure. You of all people putting me under pressure. I wanted to take a couple of years to get to know how to run an arena, but see, to be honest, there's a fine balance because we're in a kind of upward trend of sellouts, and what I don't want to do is lose that momentum where people think, well, you can never get a ticket there. So I'm under pressure. I'm going to discuss it with Alison and see what she says. But I think it might come forward faster than we thought. Really, I want to revisit the design to make sure we're on trend for all the things that fans want, and once we do that, we'll press the button on it at some point. I mean, the tremendously exciting thing is you can see how people are going to come and support us. And I think, to be honest, if I built a 20,000 arena, we'd still eventually fill it. There's that kind of enthusiasm for this game in Scotland and for this game for men and the women. And I don't think that we'll get a glass ceiling there, to be honest. We're limited by our own imaginations, if I'm being honest.
And I suppose that's kind of totally captured by what we see in front of us tonight. You've got a number of Scottish players on floor, but also a number of the high performance players have had a chance this season. Alex McIntosh is a mainstay of the main rotation now. You've got Kerry McGee in tonight's squad. It's been Zoe Sharp. It's been a couple others as well.
Yeah, we've had Cale Sweeney in the men's team.
And Cale, of course, Cale got some minutes last time out of here as well.
I mean, I love the I'm passionate about the game now. I love seeing Mon players on the floor, but I have to say, if a wee tear in my eye every time one of the youngsters of high performance group come on, because I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. And Cale's mum actually came up to me and says this basketball game's changed his life in terms of his work rate and his ambition to be here. And if we could do that with one person, it's worth it. But if you do that with several hundred people, I think it's a worthwhile endeavour. But I look at these young kids coming on and the look in their faces, something that we've all dreamed about, is that sense of wonderment, is what am I doing here, this is the greatest moment in my life. And that's the power of basketball, that's what basketball does for youngsters. You know, our professional squad are used to coming on to crowds and in the limelight, but these young kids have never known it. And if it inspires them to be something that they want to be, then I think we've done our job here, you know.
And it must be pretty amazing for you. It's a great sight to see for us as an audience. You've got on the men's side Gareth Murray, former GB international. But then on the women's side as well, you've got Chantel Handy as your head coach, former GB international. And it's a great place to see such young coaches kind of earning their way.
Well, there's two things I believe in. One is surround yourself with people that frighten the life out of you and are better than you. I've always held that philosophy, and too many people bring people in that are not good enough because they feel a bit threatened by them. I do the opposite. I bring in people that scare the shoes off me, and to be honest. The other thing I like young people to dream big. And so, you know, Chantel and Gareth might have thought a bit early for head coach of a professional team. My attitude was get in there, you know, get your hands dirty and let's see if we can help you. And I say to them all the time, if there's a gap in your skills, we'll bring in some resource to fill that. But you could potentially be the best coach in professional basketball in the UK coming here, and that's my ambition for both of them. I think Chantel's got the goods, and I think Gareth's got the goods to be, you know, two of the top coaches in the British game, if not the European game. And I hope they get there, and I'll try my hardest to help them.
And is that where
people like Miguel?
Yeah, I was about to ask, is that where with Miguel, obviously he's moved up to a more almost mentoring role to these guys?
Yeah, Miguel's, you know, in many ways for head coach of the women's team, you could argue he was overqualified, but Miguel believes in the dream here and believes in building it from the ground up. He's a big supporter of the academy, and I think the key thing was I wanted Miguel in a position where he could influence both the men and the women's team. And with a coach like that, you want that experience to come through for both young coaches. And when I watch them working together, it fills me with joy because they're working together all the time, and he's trying to put across the bits they don't know, and that's what we're all aiming for. It's what do we not know that we're missing at that game, and Miguel will fill that in. It's a tremendous resource and also the nicest man on the planet. So I love having him here, I really do.
Brilliant. Steve, thank you for your time. This has been
very
brilliant.
welcome.
Thank you for coming on the broadcast. It's been brilliant to have you.
Don't be a stranger now. I don't mind coming and talking to you.
I'm definitely not, Steve. Thank you.
No problem.
Remember to take that headset off. And yeah, we're a minute away from the start of the second half. The score 47-31. Hopefully the listeners and our viewers, I suppose you would have listened to Steve, there's no camera on us, would have enjoyed that. Rona will be back beside me any minute, and we're in for an exciting second half of basketball here at PlaySport. Both teams will be back on the floor any second now. I had a quick 20-second drink there. I'm ready to go for the second half. Referees are ready. The players are about to come back on the floor. Des Clark's getting the crowd fired up as they enter back into this PlaySport arena. A brilliant first half there, Rona. Can't be argued with that.
It was indeed, and I feel like maybe people didn't quite get to hear what Coach McDonald was saying, but he was happy, you know, with at the start they were maybe a little bit nervous and they came out. That's where we're sort of missing that defensive stuff. But the way they're now moving the ball, like we talked about, getting the ball inside, getting the ball, getting post hooks, getting the threes, they're delighted.
And you can actually already see the tempo in the Leicester defence looks a little bit higher. The active hands there. Adriana Puyol backs down. She gets the 2 points under the basket. The Gladiators are off and rolling for the second half.
They are, and when they're sitting in that zone, you're going to have somebody need to come over and clap snap. I think the way Gladiators have been shooting, they also don't want to maybe give out that outside look, but you've got to give something up when you're playing that sort of defence. Nice look
Backdoor
over the top.
cut, yeah, absolutely. Ashby goes now baseline. She forces that up, but late in the clock again. Extra pass. Hamilton for 3. Doesn't go. Rebound. Hits the top of the stanchion. Ball's gathered. Great move there by Hamilton under the basket. Took her time. Back down Kirsty Brown, and it's a nice 2-point play there for the Leicester Riders. Puyol back down there. 4 points for her to start this quarter.
And Riders, to get themselves back into this game, they're going to have to get defensive stops. They're going to have to get stops and scores, or scores and stops, whatever way you want to look at it.
Lakin James picking up Mackenzie Johnson right at the half court. Again, late in the clock here. They'll be looking to get something here. They drive. Hamilton again gets it. Brilliant start to the half for
Really
Marissa
nice
Hamilton.
work there from her. Made light work of Hannah Robb's defence there, which we know is impressive in itself.
First year pro for her. She was at Merrimack Warriors last year in the NCAA. Puyol again looking to back down Ashby. Gathers her own rebound, gets the goal. 6 points quickly for Puyol. She's doing it all.
She is indeed, and that's where she does her best work, is when she drives and she gets in near the hoop.
O'Brien called for turnover, she falls to the floor. Almost felt as if it was her own teammate that created that contact there.
I think that's sometimes what happens, isn't it, when they're trying to do that sliding or they're cutting by each other. You just have to be careful that you don't trip each other up. Especially if you're me, whose brain moves faster than her feet these days.
Hannah Robb looking to find one of her teammates. She eventually finds Lakin James. Screen set by Kirsty Brown. Mid-range pull-up jump shot for Lakin James, doesn't go. Foul called.
You just feel she could be a little bit smarter on those plays, don't you, Pujol there? We've seen her now have 2 fouls like that where, they're sort of turned the ball over, they're going back down the other end, and I mean, she's stopping the play, but you also don't want to rack up too many fouls or you're going to find yourself riding the bench.
Puyol's second foul of the game. Both have come in that kind of situation after a score. Taylor O'Brien drives. What a find, and one! Brilliant drive there from Taylor O'Brien.
It's given against Lakin James there. I wasn't quite sure where the foul was going to drop.
Thought it'd be Kirsty Brown.
I thought that's where it was going as well, but I think the contact happened before she went into Brown.
Lakin James' 3rd personal foul. O'Brien banks that one almost in. Puyol's off and running. It's 53-38. It's just under 7.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Kind of just broke down there, the offence, didn't it? And that was because Riders did really nice work of, covering and helping and shifting round.
A bit confused. Puyol's confused what she was called for. I think she thought as if she was going to call for a travel, but no. Janizeska dishes it out to Mackenzie, who pulls up. Great find there for the Leicester Rider. And they've come in at a bit more of a controlled tempo to start this half.
And that's what they had to do. That's what I'd sort of finished by saying is, it was getting a bit frenetic. One of them just had to take a bit of responsibility and hold that ball.
I'll be interested to see how the Gladiators react to this start into the 3rd. Oh, it's an important 2-point play. The extra pass from Lakin James to the Kirsty Brown for that long 2. O'Brien all the way to the hole. Doesn't go. Foul called on Lakin James. That's her 4th.
And that's what they have to look at as a team, is stopping that. Why is a player picking the ball up in their own half and getting all the way to him? And that's exactly what the Riders were doing to them in that first quarter.
Yeah, we saw that early on, the way Taylor O'Brien can drive, putting the Gladiators guards under pressure. And a couple of subs check in as we just said, the 4 fouls in Leighton James. She checks out. We'll probably not see her again for this quarter. Sorry.
I thought it was a bit severe to take her right out of the game. But I think that shows where the coaching team are at, where they've made 3 subs and pulled players out.
O'Brien with another drop off the back of the rim.
She's the most fouled on player in the league, and you can see why.
That speed she gets down, that's really impressive, but it's Ashby who gathers the loose ball. Kick ball curled by the...
Does McGarrigan have one of the most innocent faces in the league? She's always like, what? I'm like, I saw your feet.
6 minutes 22 to go. It's a 14-point lead for the Gladiators. Leicester are up 10-8 in the quarter so far. Now Hamilton fakes the shot. Janeska in the corner. Doesn't go, overcooks it. Rebound gathered, and McCarrican is off and running.
Nice work there by O'Brien to stop her on that fast break. Make them play this set.
Roscoe fakes the shot by changing hands. Foul called. Riders were looking for a hold ball there. But it will be Roscoe at the line for 2. And we're seeing the difference that Roscoe makes when she's playing the bigger minutes, when she's fully fit.
Yeah, really nice mobility. We know she can shoot the 3, but I love the work she does in the paint and also getting into the paint. I think that's where she's at her most lethal, and then, then that's when she steps out and she goes, okay, now I'll knock down the 3 ball as well. Just to make your life really fun.
Really much a defensive.
That's what the big post needs to do now. You see it with Temi Fagbenley, you see it with Megan Gustafson. That's what you've got to do. There's the days of you go in the paint, you post up, 2 dribbles, turn around, that's long gone.
Robin Lewis guarding Mackenzie Johnson in the full court, not giving her a moment's space. I'm loving this matchup between Ashby and McCarrican. Difference in size and speeds, and it's a brilliant matchup to watch as Ashby gets to the line and she'll be shooting too.
The 3-person coaching staff of Gladiators, not one of them was very impressed at how that defensively was played. I saw pretty much all the same hand signals from the 3 of them. And it's true, the help defense was coming across. It was just maybe a little bit late, but also McGarrigan had to say overcommitted.
Is that communication on behind her not coming early enough to say?
But you've got to trust in your teammates, but also sometimes you'll think you've got it, and you're there.
Which makes them both. McCarrican goes round the screen set by Putra to Roscoe. They find Putra inside, but it's the help comes from O'Brien.
And I think they're going to have to understand Putra's more the decoy there, because you can see she almost had 3 players' attention. O'Brien was coming across. That's maybe where you fake it in, find someone else.
And I suppose that's where Riders will be adapting, because Putra got that early success against them when she checked into the floor. Late into the ball, they need to get this inbound. Did they do?
Just holding the ball.
That was...
Maybe the ball travelled faster than the speed of sound.
Maybe. Must have been. That's the only logic. That must be the logical way there, Rona. Unusual for the receiver to have already received the ball before the whistle's blown, but hey ho. Great ball movement here by the Riders. Ashby drives in. She looks from Hamilton, but doesn't go as Putra picks it up. She gathers the ball and it ends up back in the trusted hands of Robin Lewis.
Yeah, Ashby, the player was there, but then she wasn't looking, then the player had gone. She just had to recheck that.
Great defense there by the Leicester Riders. Late now in the shot clock. Roscoe checks, moves her feet, makes the 3.
And that's that. She was causing the problems on the post-up, ball in, ball out, and now I'll step out and knock it down.
And it's amazing the control there to find her feet not only just behind the line, but to stay in bounds in that. You're not watching your feet at all, you're looking at the receiving pass. It was, what a backdoor cut there.
Real
Ashby
nice
with
play.
it. I goes Johnson with the find, Ashby with the bucket. Brilliant
That's where
there.
Riders are dangerous. You know, they just.
Hannah Robb now for 3. It goes!
It's a shootout.
End-to-end scoring here at PlaySport. 63-45 here. O'Brien given a bit of space. She drives inside. Blocking foul called by referee Dodds. The 3 obviously will not count.
And that's tough, and that's where Riders, they don't give you a moment to breathe. It's like, yes, you've scored the 3 ball, but they're getting straight back down the court and down your throat, and they're like, cool, we're going to come out, we're going to look to draw something, get something. Gladiators on 4 fouls, you know, so every time they get fouled, they're getting themselves to the line.
That's Hannah Robb's 3rd foul. Team fouls now for the Gladiators. 4 minutes to go on the clock. They did really well in that first half, limiting the fouls they gave away there. For the last 4 minutes, Riders will be shooting every time they're fouled. She makes the first. O'Brien, usually for the season 77%, but she's made those 2 there. Riders picking up full court. Robin Lewis with the Duracell feet breaks down that half court.
Tandem defense, she basically fought.
Pitch
Nice.
almost forcing up that shot there.
Yeah, that was one of those ones. It's when you're feeling it, when you've been in the game a while, you've maybe just scored 2 or 3 baskets in a row, coming off the bench a little bit colder, not so much, but nice box out there by the Riders, keeping low off the boards. Ball goes out of court, dead ball, inbound, off we go.
Hamilton backing down. Oh. That looked more like the chair was removed from underneath Hamilton there. It looks like she's landed on her elbow, or her wrist, sorry.
Feel like referees maybe calling it a little bit tighter this quarter.
Definitely feels like that on that play. I think we saw one similar down that corner in the first half that went uncalled. Or early in this quarter that went uncalled. So, as we said, Riders will now be scoring these throws for every foul. Butcher gains her first foul of the game. And Hamilton, I've been really impressed by her contribution so far in this game. Misses the first free throw.
Gladiators 13 fouls to Riders 6. Riders aren't a high fouling team usually though.
She makes the second. I mean, I suppose we're at a kind of crucial junction of this game. The third quarter's been a lot more level, 16 all. Kind of got the feeling of the first quarter, but with a little bit more control to it.
I'd agree.
And I'll be interested to see who makes this final run as we head in towards the end of this quarter. Robin Lewis with Robin loses this pass. Hannah Robb misses a 3, and Ashby's off running. She's dancing through the defenders like they're not there. Pass out to Eadsworth. Yates passes extra pass to Hamilton, doesn't go. Riders sharing the ball well, but not getting that open look to drop. McCarrican now having her chance to shoot the 3. She always goes chasing after a rebound, even if she makes it.
Really nice hustle there to get it.
Riders looking for a foul, but nothing given.
Up.
Bintu back to McCarrican. They find Bintu inside. He goes for the extra pass towards the Riders bench. Neither of them ready.
I was about to say that's a team of girls who can really catch a ball. And they both were like, "Wow, like why is there a ball?"
And his Riders sideline ball. Turnover by the Gladiators.
They were watching the game, but maybe just not mentally fully.
They weren't ready for the catch and shoot.
No. But again, another good defensive set by the Riders, forcing Gladiators down the shot clock, putting the ball out of court.
15-point lead for the Gladiators. 2.5 minutes to go in the third. Taylor O'Brien working around the defense, doesn't get it to go. Butcher gathers a loose ball and the Gladiators are off and running. Kirsty Brown looking to get in early to seal her position. Offensive foul.
I think there's a lot of selling going on down there, both sides.
That's always one you feel that the smaller guard
That
looks
bugs
to.
me. Like I see if I feel it in like such injustice. I'm like, just because I'm taller. You know, you often sometimes think the shorter players maybe get the benefit of the doubt in that situation, whereas someone like Robin can probably push me off my spot easier than I could push her.
Soft foul called there. Chantal Handy not happy about that. And as we said, the Riders go to the line shooting too.
I think when you see as well, you know, if you're getting frustrated as a player and you see that the refs are whistle happy and they're going against you, you've then got to make them have to make a call at the other end. So take the ball into them, you know, make them have to make that decision.
Ainsworth Yates in the line. She's in her second season at the Leicester Riders, former Newcastle Eagle player.
Smart moves though by Leicester. They know they're going to get calls if they go inside, so they're going, they're attacking, you know, that's what you do.
Gladiators will be looking for a few baskets now. Kirsty Brown looks to drive baseline, gets under the basket. Extra pass, but another turnover forced there. Robin Lewis telling the team just to calm it down.
Yep, and she's had such nice success. I expect her to come back in, up and under the front, because that's where she's been getting her nice looks and scoring them.
Ashby shoots the three. Doesn't go. Putra's off and running. Oh, offensive foul.
Putra should have looked to dish that ball out. Really smart play there to get your feet set, get in front of the taller player who probably doesn't have, you know, the same ability to change direction, get the ball.
Ashby just did a good job
yep.
there to just commanding a bigger amount of space.
Move.
Yep.
I feel like Coach Handy is giving a bit of a stare there. Putra maybe keeping her back to said stare. Riders bring it back to 13.
Double team here in the corner of the court here. Someone's open, but it's a great steal there by the Gladiators. Turnover forced by the pressure from Putra and Lewis.
Redemption defense there from her. You could see her going, feet were going, arms were going. Big, but no foul. Nice work.
Isn't it? That's unlucky for the Riders there. The Gladiators catch a break there. The offense kind of got really stagnant there. And we've got something called.
You can see where Riders are set up, and they're able to just set with maybe half a foot outside the key, just with how the Gladiators are almost matching them up in that same space, as opposed to having to pull them or attacking into space, but because of how they've set themselves up in the offensive end.
And I suppose this is where sometimes the height of the Gladiators will count against them right now when they're playing against those quicker, smaller players. And like Ashby, Johnson, as Puyol drives by her. Great block by Tweedy. And referee gives it to the Riders. Puyol's not happy in that call. And there's a bit of an injustice Chantal Handy feels there against her squad. Clipboard in hand, this could go anywhere.
But again, basketball's a game of runs. Riders have got their tails up, things are going their way. You've just got to weather this storm. You've got to look to try and get defensive stops, play good, solid basketball.
It's doing a 13-point margin for almost 2 minutes. Since I said it was 16 all. Box out there was strong. Gladiators are off and running. Puyol goes in. Taylor O'Brien with the foul. Is that a case there where Kirsty Brown actually probably hindered Puyol's drive to the basket?
No, I think what she was doing was she was blocking the Leicester player from being able to get across her, so she was trying to create the lane for Pujol to come round and under.
Okay. Almost as felt as if she almost had to Euro step
I
round
know
her
what
own
you're
teammate.
saying, but I think if she hadn't have done that because of how tight they were to each other, they should potentially end up blocking one player.
Puyol, not the strongest of free throw scorers there, misses everything. Gets to the line a lot, but not the highest percentage scorer. But makes the second. She goes 1 from 2. Gladiators really needed that to tick the scoreboard over here. Leads back to 14. Mackenzie Johnson given no space. We've got 10 seconds to go in the third. Double team comes for the Gladiators here. The ball eventually ends up in O'Brien's hand. Late in the clock, she shoots it up. Doesn't go. Great end of quarter defence there again by the Gladiators. And there we go. End of 3. Teams will catch a breath. The Gladiators lead 64-50. A quarter that the Riders win 19-17 points. It very much felt like Rona, the Riders had the ascendancy there, but they only won that quarter by 2.
They did, and you know, that's what was really interesting about the game last week. Both teams took 2 quarters, but actually the difference was that Riders won their quarters by more, and that then was what the difference was in the game. So Riders have managed to pip this one back, and they've definitely got their tails up. Gladiators are looking a little bit flummoxed at the moment. You know, they need to now be the ones who have got a cam head. You can see Lewis is out there. You've got McGarrigan out there. You know, cam heads. You saw Roscoe check back in for Putra. You can see what Coach Handy's doing there with the rotation. She's then looking to turn around and put players back in who should be able to do the job. Gladiators have just got themselves a little bit stuck, and they just need to make sure they're passing the ball a little bit more, that they're looking for the gap, they're pulling that zone defence out. Riders, like I say, they play best, I think, when they're going small, they're going fast, and they're going hard to the hoop. O'Brien, most fouled upon player in the league. Currently, you know, Gladiators 17 fouls to the Riders 7. And it was also the same in the previous game as well. That in the game, Gladiators came out and they had fouled 8 fouls in 13 minutes to Riders. They only had 4. So, you know, that's something that we knew that was potentially going to be a thing. It's happening again today. But Gladiators, you know, they have the benefit of that bench where they have so many players that they can bring into that rotation, so many players that can contribute.
In terms of stats, Hannah Robb leads all scoring on 19 points. Ashby leads it for the Riders on 13. Lavenia Putra, she's on 8 rebounds. And Lakin James leads the game in assists with 6, as the ball is shared around really well by both teams.
And like we spoke about at the start, you know, these teams are so evenly matched. Like even on things like field goals attempted, Gladiators tend to, on average, shoot 6 to 8 shots a game. Riders shoot 69.7, almost 70 shots a game. You know, that's how equal these teams are matched. Riders, let's not forget, one of their key players out today, but they've adapted, they've overcame, you know, and you wouldn't necessarily say they were missing someone.
No, I really like the way they're playing. They're playing to their strengths very much so with O'Brien and Johnson and Ashby.
I think what's telling for the Riders though is, you know, last week they were 40 points in the paint. Today they're 22.
Bump on Ashby, doesn't get it to go. She'll go to the line for 2.
And they're just come out and they're starting this quarter exactly how they finished the last. Also looking at the head-to-head, 14 up on the day, 9 up on the head-to-head if they're going to look. You know, they've still got to go and play the Hatters, Riders.
Gladiators travel down to London next weekend. Ashby's set, oh, it decided not to drop.
And it dances round the hoop like that.
Ashby makes the second one. Up to 14 points for the game. Puyol posts up. She tries to drive in against Mackenzie. Great defence. That ball passed out. Lewis faked the shot back in. Puyol goes right. She'll look to go left. She does. She puts it back in her left hand. Makes the layup.
Ironically, it's the Gladiators who usually visit the free throw line more than the Riders, which is not the case today.
The hedge comes. Brown ends up in Ashby, but Ashby drives by her. Overcooks it. Tap back. Ends up in Puyol's hands.
Laying right down the middle for her there.
Oh, what a tough layup.
She took that from her pocket.
How she finishes that is exquisite, but O'Brien just drives down right through the heart of the defence. Ashby again up against Kirsty Brown and makes it. Both teams trading balls at the basket.
That comes from O'Brien. I'm like, does O'Brien even look tired? She is zipping up and down that court. She does not give them a moment to breathe.
Overcooked pass there by Hannah Robb. Puyol not able to gather it in.
I think a little bit of communication. Puyol wanting it low. Robb saying actually going in high was a better option.
15 points is the margin, 68-53. 8.5 minutes to go in the game. And Hannah Robb gathers the ball with a steal against Ashby. She drives in, great hands by Mackenzie Johnson. And it'll be a baseline ball for the Gladiators.
Nice hustle play on that defensive there,
Just
not causing a foul. Yep, getting it out. Rob unfortunate.
Gladiators using the full 5 seconds there. It ends up in Rob's hand. She pulls up for 3 and it goes. Hannah Robb is having a shooting stormer of a night.
You'd almost like it would have been better giving her the 2 layup.
Oh, hands there by Robin Lewis as she gets in against Edgeworth Yates.
This is where you're wondering, is this where the momentum's maybe going to start to shift?
The lead's up to 18 points. Momentum shifting a little bit back in the Gladiators' favour now. O'Brien just waits for Hannah Robb to step one way but doesn't make it, and the ball ends up out for Edgeworth Yates to shoot the 3. Ball's batting around. Ashby takes it, she steps back. Another 3's up. And it goes!
You give them 3 attempts at the hoop, they're more than likely going to score 1.
Edgeworth Yates up to 5 for the game. That's her first 3 she's made. Puyol dancing around the screens there.
Needs to get out of the key.
Gets out just in time. Puyol drives, 3-throw line floater. Can she not just shoot free throws like that?
But off
and
the
it's
goal.
open. Hamilton out on the American football catch. Doesn't get it to drop.
And that was fortunate, but you know, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The Riders, they go, like, they are rapid.
Roscoe establishing herself in against Ashby. They're not able to locate her inside. They do eventually. Does she gather it? She doesn't. Great defense there by Ashby. And O'Brien's off. And it doesn't go for her either. Ashby back up. Foul called.
And that's where you've got to secure the boards first. You know, they were getting into a jumping match there. They got to put a body on a ball.
Foul called on, I think, Hannah Robb. That's her 4th personal. That's both Lakin James and Hannah Robb on 4 fouls.
I feel like, you know, down at the other end, yes, they've got the mismatch, but again, that's where the mismatch is drawing the attention. It's all playing into Riders' hands because they're doing such a good job of allowing it to look like the big's open, then they're coming in and they're making them fumble it, they're taking the ball and off they're going.
Ashby misses the first. She's on 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the game. Not been always. It seems like she's made every second free throw bar the first one.
It's nice to keep a pattern, right?
She looked really disappointed though she missed the first as Light Riders go for the trap. Robin Lewis breaks that down. Just under 7 minutes on the clock. 73-57. Kirsty Brown just behind the free throw line, doesn't get it to go. And every time Riders gather the ball, there's someone out in the outlet pass. Brown touches the ball to get it to Robin Lewis.
Crucial tip there from her.
Transition offense there for the Riders is impressive. Ball's into.
I thought he wasn't going to notice that had gone out of
I think I
was like,
genuinely
both
thought.
feet are definitely behind the baseline. But again, great hustle D.
Yeah, great hustle defense.
And there's a reason Riders are sitting where they are in the league. You know, there's a reason they're going out. There's a reason, you know, they're challenging.
Corner. They like that inbound play to the corner. Hannah Robb under the basket. The Kirsty Brown, and it goes.
Hannah Robbs and Robin Lewis, these are killing you today.
Coach Stanley calls timeout. Maybe I need a timeout too. As 6.5 minutes on the clock, 75-57. And this quarter started like every other. It's been an end-to-end grueling encounter, and these girls are giving it all.
I know, and when you look at the quarter score, you're like 7 points, plays 9. But it feels like there's been more than that. 6.5 minutes still to play. Riders are going to look to just start to try and chip away at this lead. You've got to go for it now. If you're going to go, you go now. You can't leave it any later than this, in my opinion, in the game. So they're going to have to go get stuck in. Gladiators, again, they just need to settle. You know, I would say at every point today, whoever's hit the floor has contributed, but at times the right people haven't been on the floor together, and it's just finding that balance.
The Riders probably looking to unleash some 3-ball threats. They only have shot 26% from behind that line compared to the Gladiators 47% from the free throw line. They are 13 from 19 with 68%. as the teams come back out. As I said, 6.5 on the clock, 75-57 here at Play Sport. And this important Women's British Basketball League matchup.
I would say almost with the Riders, it's not the classic free ball outside the arc they go for. It's more that and one they're getting. They're getting in at the hoop. And that's what, they're forcing the Gladiators. And you've got 2 players on the floor at the minute on 4 fouls. You're going to look to attack
back
them.
in, yes, for the first time since about 6 minutes to go in the third. And O'Brien will look to drive right in against her now. Oh, almost got a steal. Ashby pulls up, jump shot, makes it. Nice play by the Riders.
And that's the problem when you gamble on that one. If you don't pull it off, you're out of play for the defense.
They go for the trap, but Robin Lewis gets round it. Someone must be open somewhere. But the defense gets back in. Kirsty Brown gets it out. Allowed to play there, and Kirsty Brown's the benefactor of that.
But again, that's where there was 2 players on her. Was that the right look? But she's got the score, so.
It's a great spin by O'Brien, and she's going.
Her turn of pace is awesome, isn't it? The way she can go in, attack, slam on the brakes, and then change direction.
O'Brien, 14 points, 4 rebounds. Offensive foul called. Kirsty Brown checks out, Bintu low, checks back in. Sideline ball for the Leicester Riders. Janueska with it, but it gets back in the hands of O'Brien. She just blows by defenders, but Bintu's in her way. She touches it out to Hamilton. Corner 3 doesn't go, and Bintu gathers the ball. Blew past 2 players, but Bintu low just got her hands in the way for O'Brien's shot. Gladiators slowing it down a wee bit, eating some clock up. Bintu backing down, looks to spin right. Great help defense from Ashby. And Hamilton's off. Great defense there by the Gladiators, and even better play by Bintu. Foul called. O'Brien was looking for a foul when she was driving to the basket there. That would have been Hannah Robb's 5th. But great, just going straight up. No contact called. And it is a sideline ball. Gladiators lead by 16. Just under 5 minutes to go in the game. Hannah Robb round that screen set by Sam Roscoe. Puyol to Bintu with a little bit of space to drive into.
You could see her trying to dance over the ball so it wasn't last touched.
But it was.
But it was.
Great defence again by the Leicester Riders. Both teams' defences at times have been out on top. Ashby opens up for her again. Extra pass. Janueska drives inside against Roscoe. Great finish at the hook. The 19-year-old GB under-20s international. And another steal for the Riders. Mackenzie Johnson's off. She looks for help. Doesn't want to drive against the size advantage of Bintu low. And it's back in her hands.
Smart by her to pop the ball out. Got it back.
Under the basket. Oh, Janueska's just stepped out of bounds there. She went up against a bigger Bintu. And this is where Bintu's contribution can go quite often off the stat sheet. These wee hustle plays, the wee touches, that we can almost force an opponent out of the baseline.
Yeah, and I think that can be true for all players on the floor, isn't it? It's just, that extra bit of hustle, putting your body there, and even just the presence, knowing somebody's coming across, especially if they've got height.
Screen set to give Puyol a bit of space. She looks to drive baseline on Hamilton.
A little dance move
there.
Dance
move there.
I know she's calling for the elbow, but we double pump.
Aye. Puyol with the base, inbound from the baseline. Just over 3.5 to go. 77-63.
9 fouls for Leicester.
They look for that 3 in the corner, offensive foul.
And you just feel like, Riders, they manage to chip away at it, but then Gladiators will get 2 nice plays in a row and they'll knock down maybe a 3 ball with it, and then Riders chip away at it again. It's almost as if, they're given and then they're allowing them back into it.
And when we think of in terms of the playoff picture, the head-to-head comes into it. Great play there by Janieska.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to do. James is on 4 fouls, and she's probably not going to want to give up.
Great hands by Puyol. Sam Roscoe, his catch back in the hands of Puyol. Bit of clock being used here.
Smart idea there, I think, by her.
The Gladiators are up 12 in the game. Great find inside and 1. Great find by Ben too low. Great easy finish at the layup by Sam Roscoe. Gets the contact. And she's straight in asking about her defensive set. Putra looks to check back in.
And like we say, that's when the Gladiators play their best basketball, when they move the ball around. Smart by Roscoe. Could she shoot the 3 ball? Absolutely. Was it an open transition? We know it wasn't, so she recycles the ball back out, gets a better look, gets the 2, and gets the option to have the third, or not the option, but she gets the opportunity, apologies, for the 3.
Sam Roscoe makes a 3-point play. She's up to 16 points personal. 16, 5 and 3 for her tonight. Timeout called on the floor. Gladiators build that lead back to 15 on the back of that 3-point play from Sammy Roscoe just over 3 minutes ago. Gladiators on 14 fouls, the Riders on up to 3. That could play a part in this tie as it comes to an end.
It's been a high-scoring game, hasn't it? Like every single quarter, both teams are going at it, but there has been good defense played as well. But teams are shooting well. Overall, Leicester 47% from floor, Gladiators 52%. If 1 and 2 shots that you put up is going to go in, it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think that's maybe something from the Gladiators. They shot poorly last weekend, and speaking to some folk in the team that sitting around all day when you're not getting in and shooting in the morning like that can throw you off a little bit. But I guess that's where you've got to adapt and you've got to learn to be better on the road. And that's why you have home and away games, right? Home court advantage.
That's how the teams adapt when their travels home and away.
And then that's what's making it so important heading into the playoffs, isn't it? You want to maintain as high a seed as possible.
Yeah, so if the Gladiators finish second, they'll get a quarter, and they win their quarter final. They have the potential to have a home quarter and a home semi-final. We spoke to Steve at halftime, and he was saying how amazing it would be to have potentially both teams at the O2 in London. But first, 3 minutes 4 seconds remaining of this game, and this is 2v3 encounter. Riders inbound the ball from underneath their own basket. Janieska's off and running. O'Brien makes it, dances inside, hard foul called.
I mean, nice use of her body. She was going so far away from the hoop when she put that up, but draws the contact, draws the foul, puts herself on the line.
3rd foul for Puyol. O'Brien misses the first. Chris Dodds from the other end of the court, giving a final warning to the coach of the Gladiators. And O'Brien misses them both, and the ball ends up back in her hands. Great fight by Ashby. They're going against Roscoe for the rebound. The 2 Aussie Brits battling it out. And the defense here from the Riders, suffocating the Gladiators, and O'Brien goes for the 3, doesn't go. Travel called.
And they said the ball was released from her hands though before she put her foot down. And I think that's maybe her teammates are just like, don't worry. Riders really disruptive play, they're getting in at it.
Is that one of these moments where, Pucha, maybe that's that youthfulness there, that's that just over 2.5 minutes ago, you just put your hands on the ball, gather it, and find the teammate.
What Riders have done so well though, isn't it? It's upsetting the play, it's making them a bit more nervous, it's making them play like that frantic style.
Hamilton open for 3. She doesn't get it to go. She's been really unlucky in her looks from out there. Puyol under pressure, but Roscoe to the basket.
Nice.
Great control with Hamilton running underneath her.
I mean, you've got
good
so
hustle
many
back there by Roscoe.
pushing up on you. That's the sort of look you need to look for.
O'Brien pull up, jump shot doesn't go. Back in Lakin James's hand. She skips by Janieska. And the Gladiators will look to run some clock again. 2 minutes to go. Hannah Robb with the ball in hand. Great defence again by Ashby on Puyol. Oh, she's unlucky there. Foul called, and Puyol will go to the line, shooting 2. Puyol will be looking to go hopefully better than the 1 from 2 she did last time. Puyol shoots 46% for the season, so we'll see if she makes them both. 1:51 on the clock, 82-67. A big 2 minutes here for the tie in terms of head-to-head. First one doesn't go. Wouldn't be surprised if Leicester look to get down the floor really quick here in transition.
Also, props to the Riders fans in. Over
Yes,
there in their
absolutely.
red t-shirts, behind the bench.
Absolutely.
Love to see travelling support.
Puyol goes 1 from 2, and absolutely love to see some travelling supporters across that. Something we've seen a lot more as 2024 has ticked by. In both the men's and the women's game, a lot more travelling fans. Great to see for the game. Ashby driving in hard. Janieska picks it up, looks to drive off. Hannah Robb doesn't go, but she fights for her own rebound. Johnson for the 2. Yates unlucky fighting for the rebound against Puyol. And it's a Gladiators ball. Just under 90 seconds on the clock. Roscoe goes down. McCarrigan comes back up to the top, and the ball's back in the point guard's hand. Lakin James behind the back, drives in, tripped as she goes to the basket. And 2 shots for Lakin James. 1:05 seconds on the clock. Janieska's second personal foul. Both teams now in 5 team fouls for the rest of the game. James makes the first. She makes them both. She's up to 7 points personal. We've got a timeout on the floor. And this tells you something. The lead might be 18, but in terms of like the head-to-head, there's a big minute and 5 seconds to go.
And you're always going to want to cut that lead, and you're going to want to take it down. And these 2 teams could meet each other again, so you want to finish in as positive a position as you possibly can.
In terms of the Gladiators here, they'll be looking to probably have that in mind. They've got a lot of experienced players that played in this league for a long time, and that kind of international experience, they'll be looking to lean on that to help them close this out.
And also players that will be looking, to stake their claim in the GB. Although they're not involved in the Olympics in the summer, that it's been announced that they are going to be playing down at the O2, and that's going to be awesome. And they also are going to be looking to go and play Mexico or Romania. Yep,
Rwanda.
There we go. Apologies.
World Cup qualifiers, yes.
There's a lot of players, GB players, naturalised players on the floor at the moment, and they're going to want to be putting out the best. New coach coming in, want to get themselves on that long list.
A minute and 5, both teams back on the floor. Mackenzie Johnson has the ball under the basket. Potential season-defining end to this game. Taylor Brown fights round it. He's for Yates, back to Ashby. She looks to go catch and shoot, but drop doesn't collect the ball. The Gladiators defence. Foul called on Sam Roscoe. She's disappointed in that as she forced the shooter to miss the basket. Janieska will go to the line, shooting 2. 60% for the season. misses the first. And what's been great for this game, it's been a really loud, knowledgeable crowd in for tonight.
It has been indeed, and you know, gotta love when they make some noise.
And with both men's and women's teams with playoff games next, get along to play sport, you get the chance to support the team. As Riders look to get into potential fill mode, but the ball ends up in McCarrican's hands and back to Robin Lewis. Ashby went for the steal there. And the two guards just flying the ball around to tick down clock. Robin Lewis drives inside, out to Roscoe for two. Doesn't go. Puyol gathers it. She checks it back out, takes some time off the clock. Lake and James into Roscoe under the basket. Foul call. She'll go line for the two. 15 seconds on the clock. 85-67. She makes the first. 86-67. And the lead's extended to 20. O'Brien looks to drive down. Clock's ticking down. Ashby driving against Puyol. Jake's back in and out. Roscoe gathers the ball. And that'll do us here. Robin Lewis will tick it down. Big win for the home team. Caledonia Gladiators, 87-67. And an absolutely brilliant comeback from the previous game in which the Riders were victors. They take the head-to-head over the Leicester Riders. We're going to be going courtside shortly to join Rona. But that's a massive win in terms of standings. That puts the Gladiators after 19 games and 16 wins and 3 defeats. And with 1 game to go, they now have the head-to-head over the Riders. In terms of stats and players tonight, Hannah Robb leads all scoring, 22 points. A brilliant performance from the GB International. Not only on offense, her defense was superb. Sam Ashby for the visitors leads them with 19 points, but it was the driving force of Taylor O'Brien. 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. The Gladiators will be delighted with that bounce back performance. The crowd stand to their feet. The players clap them back, and it was a brilliant win here at PlaySport for the Gladiators. Sam Roscoe made her, we touched on that and brought her up in this pre-game about what impact she'll have now she's back in better shape, having sat out and played limited minutes over a number of games. She was 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. 26 index for her. We're waiting on, I think Donnie's coming over to do the post-game with Rona. He's just checking his stat sheet and he's almost ready to go. So let's head down courtside for a kind of full-time analysis with Rona, who's got Donnie.
I'm courtside with Coach McDonald. A great 20-point bounce-back win. Are the coaching team happy with what they saw?
Of course, that was much more like what we expect of our team. You know, last week we were all disappointed. I think we let ourselves down in terms of the intensity we played with. And today we showed what we're really capable of.
Indeed, and looking ahead, I know we're always looking at the next game, Lions, to round out the season. What sort of things will you be looking forward to in practice next week? I mean, slightly different look to the Lions team compared to the last time we welcomed them to play sport.
Yes. Again, the last time Lions visited us here, we were disappointed with our performance. There are a few tactical, technical things out of that game that we've spent a bit of time working on. So hopefully we see the benefits of that and we have a much stronger performance of them down in London.
Excellent. Well, good luck next week, and we look forward to the home game for the playoffs.
Thank you.
And I'll hand you back to Grant to wrap up today's game.
A brilliant 20-point victory for the Gladiators, 87-67 here at PlaySport. Absolutely brilliant end-to-end game. Both teams came out fighting, and as the Gladiators get the victory, the Gladiators women will be back in action next weekend against the London Lions, and then they'll be here for a home quarter-final. Look out for information on tickets and dates for that. And again, thank you very much for joining us. To our crew tonight, thanks. To Rona, my thanks. And join us next time on another stream here at the Gladiators.